Hey, it's Lauren. It's been approximately 6 months since probably my last video. I wanted to just pop on here real quick and give you guys a little bit of a life update. There's been a lot of really positive and great things that have impacted my life that have kind of kept me from spending a lot of time stitching, so I haven't really stitched too much, and so I really haven't had much to show. And I don't really have much to show today. I really just wanted to kind of come in and say hi and say that I'm okay. For many of you guys, you may be aware that I live in the Houston, Texas area. I live slightly southwest of Houston in Fort Bend County. For those of you who've been keeping up with the national news, local news, probably know about the fact that Hurricane Harvey hit pretty close to home for us. It hit south of Houston in the Corpus Christi area, Rockport, Port Aransas area. I believe it was either late on Friday, early Saturday. I apologize, my days are all really blurred together right now. And we were on the dirty side of the storm, so we had while we didn't have a lot of wind in the area and high winds like we did during Hurricane Ike, and Hurricane Ike was pretty much a direct hit for Houston, we've had a astronomically large amount of rain. It rained for pretty much about 4 to 5 days straight here in Houston. We had multiple tornadoes. I think the count ended up being something, I think we had maybe 4 or 5 tornadoes in the area, one of which hit about 2 miles from my house. But we've had a lot of rain. I just want to come on and say I am fine. Our house is fine. Everybody in my home is fine. We have a lot of family that live in the Houston area and a variety of places around Houston, and thank God all of them are also okay. None of them have flooding in their house. Lots of street flooding and things like that, you know, trees down and things, but nothing that's not replaceable or easily fixable. What's been the hardest has been seeing the devastation around us and going through the storm. My neighborhood was under mandatory evacuation starting on Monday. We knew we were under voluntary at like 11 o'clock at night on Sunday, and then they changed it to a mandatory evacuation on Monday at like 1 in the morning. So we had very little time to kind of process how we were going to get things together. We live in a new-ish neighborhood. Our house was built in 2013, and we were told we were not in a flood zone. But the basic issue is that because our part of Texas received such a large amount of rain, we do have a levee system that is close to our neighborhood that feeds off of the Brazos River. And when that river swells, the levees are only built to hold a certain amount of rain for like a 100-year flood event. Well, this was what they're now considering a 500-year flood event, and the levees were projected to not be able to withstand the amount of rain and the amount of water that was going to be draining down from north of us. So we were at risk for the levees overfilling and then flooding our home basically for that. When we tried to get out of our neighborhood, the streets were flooded so much. We were trying to get to different members of our family that lived about 30 minutes away from our home. We couldn't get to them because of the freeway closures. There was no clear evacuation route from our house, so we ended up at a shelter for just a few hours until we could figure out where to go. We had some friends open up their home to us. We stayed with them for a night, let the rain die down a little bit, and let some of the freeways open up a little bit more, and then we were able to get to the northwest side of town, northwest Houston, to get to my aunt's house, and we stayed there for a couple of days until we were able to get back down to our house in Fort Bend. We do have a lot of flooding in our neighborhood. I returned back to work. I work at a pediatric hospital here in Houston, and I returned back to work. I have about total, there's about 52 employees in my department, and listening to their stories, watching the news, knowing what happened to their homes, their families, there was some loss of life here in the Houston area. Fortunately, it is somewhat minimal. I think the last death toll that I saw was only around, I believe, about 22 people. But there's a lot of people without their homes. People are still, some of my employees are still kayaking back and forth to their homes, trying to take a look at the devastation that has happened. It's just everywhere. There's helicopters all the time that I hear. There's a lot of relief coming to Houston. We have a lot of huge convention centers, and people from all over the country have come to assist and to help and to rebuild. I have a lot of patients at the hospital that we've been talking to, that we're finding donations for, that have lost supplies, that have special needs children, trying to get them medical supplies, trying to get them formula, trying to get them diapers, whatever we can. And it's probably been the toughest time this past week. It certainly has taken a large emotional toll on myself, on my family. My elderly father-in-law lives with us as well, and it was a difficult adjustment for him, trying to get him across town, trying to leave our home, trying to, the worry about whether or not our home was going to be okay. So it's just the reality of everything is really sinking in, but I am extremely fortunate to let you guys know that I am okay. And it may not look like it right now. I am very, very tired. I haven't gotten much sleep, but I am okay. We will be okay. For those of you that are interested, there are a lot of really large organizations, the American Red Cross, Gulf Coast Regional Blood Bank. For those of you who do live in the Houston area, Houston is in critical need of blood and platelets to kind of help treat people who need it. But the American Red Cross is taking donations, as well as J.J. Watt, who's one of our big football players here in the Houston area, has raised a substantial amount of money to help support not only Houston, but a lot of the surrounding cities and counties that were also affected because, especially where the hurricane hit, Rockport area has been totally just demolished, and they need support as well. So JJ's foundation is really helping a lot. I'm going to leave a link down below in this video for those of you who would be interested in making a monetary donation. I urge you to go there. To donate money, and all of that money is going directly back into Houston and the other areas of Texas that were affected, to make sure that they have clean water, clean food, supplies to help rebuild their homes, things like that. Anything that you feel compelled to donate would be great. The other big piece of news that I have, and really the reason that I have not been on Flosstube, was because, as many of you guys know, I have been going through the adoption process to adopt a child. And we finished our certification for the process sometime like around February-ish. And I kind of started not feeling well. And we very shortly found out that I am pregnant. So that has been also a huge blessing in my life. I am now at 29 weeks. I'll be 30 weeks on Wednesday. So I'm actually about to the countdown point. I'm in my 3rd trimester now. It's just, God just works in very mysterious ways is the only thing that I can say. Gosh, this emotional video. And we were shocked. We were surprised. We had no idea that this was going to happen. We had been told that it was going to be very challenging for us to ever get pregnant. So the fact that I did get pregnant, and the fact that the baby is doing really well, that I'm doing really well, has been great. But of course, I had nausea and stuff in the 1st trimester, and so that really kind of killed my stitchy bug a little bit. And I've just been preoccupied with planning and just, getting ready for a baby to come my way. My due date is November 15th. It's the week before Thanksgiving. And I'm going to show you guys kind of how far I've come along. So if you can or cannot see, it is a boy. We're having a little boy. And you can see I've got a big belly now. He is in there. He is getting very big. He's making it harder to sleep, harder to move, and so you can only imagine my husband during this hurricane situation not only having to deal with my father-in-law, who is older and has a harder time getting around, but also trying to take care of his pregnant wife. My husband's been fantastic and extraordinarily supportive this whole time. So our son's name will be Ryder Joseph Girardi. He is going to just be a substantial blessing in our life. So we are very, very excited about that. But enough of that. That is really the big life update that I have. The only Stitchy related thing that I even have to show, I have been working on really only two things. One has been my welcome stitch along from Tempting Tangles. I'm almost done with that. I'm on the very, very last row. I'm probably going to try to stitch today. My husband's at work all day today, so I just want to, I kind of want to get that finished and kind of out of the way. I'm trying to just really finish projects at this point. I'm not trying to start anything new, just because I know that Ryder is on the way. Excuse me, I just ate. Knowing that Ryder is on the way, I know he's going to take up a lot of my time, so I'm really just trying to wrap up a lot of projects. So I've been working on that. I don't have that with me. I brought it with me in my suitcase. I actually, for evacuation, when I was grabbing stuff, I did grab stitching items because I thought I might be bored. I didn't stitch. So that will hopefully be done soon. A lot of you guys know what that looks like. A lot of you guys have seen it. So, you know, I didn't really feel compelled to dig through my stuff to find it. But the only other thing that I did do, and that I actually did finish, was my Spring Heart sampler. And this is by Dinky Dyes. This is one of the Dinky Dyes, kits. So I have all of the different seasons. This was the one that I was working on first. My goal was to stitch one of these each season. I did not even start the summer one, and I don't plan on starting the summer one right now. My stitching is going to have to go a little bit on hold while I try to figure some stuff out. I also thought I wanted to do a baby sampler for Ryder, and I just haven't quite had the time or mustered the strength to stitch something for him yet. Maybe on maternity leave I may order something. If I did something, I'd want to do something I think just really simple, because I don't want to overwhelm myself with a big project at this point. I've got a lot going on. But for the Spring Heart sampler, this is what it looks like completed. And let me hold this up a little bit so you can kind of see. It was really fun to stitch. My goal in actually stitching these was to really just get used to specialty stitches, because I have a chatelaine that I really want to do. And so I wanted some practice doing specialty stitches, so I thought these were small. They were simple. I was going to stitch all of these on the same fabric, and the fabric that I have, I'm going to cover up, is 28 Lugana and Whisper is the fabric that I actually used for this. And it's kind of a grayish beige fabric. It's a very nice neutral. And I actually have the same kind of fabric for all of the different samplers to do. So eventually I will get to the other ones, but for right now it's just really not a priority. Other than that, that's really all the stitching that I've done, and I hope to be getting back into stitching soon. Thank you again for all of you that have supported me, all of you guys that have reached out and asked how I'm doing. I am still watching Flosstube here and there, but obviously I've been just pretty busy with things, with really a lot of really great things, and just preparing for baby and everything has been a good distraction. While it's been taking over my stitching, it certainly is you know, a welcome and satisfying experience for me. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are okay. For any of you that live in the Houston or surrounding areas of Houston that were impacted by Harvey, please let me know if there is anything, absolutely anything that I can do to help assist. I know this is a great community. The stitching community is a great community. I know that many of you guys would love to help anybody in need. So please reach out if you guys need something, or just let us know that you're okay. Let us know that you made it through the storm. Let us know that you're safe and that you're sound. I know that hearing at least that people are okay gives me a lot of great hope. So I wish you guys well. I'm not sure when I'm going to be videoing next, but we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, guys, you have a great weekend, and I'll see you later.